Welcome food fans, picky eaters, the flavor curious, and everyone in between. Nothing makes good food better than good conversation. And your table is ready. Welcome back to another episode of the Food for Thoughtcast with your hosts, Melissa Reagan and Steven Gonzalez. But you can call them Chef. All right, let's get this episode started.
Hey there, food fans. Welcome back to the Food for Thoughtcast with me, your host, Melissa Reagan, and my co-host with the most, Chef Steven Gonzalez. What's up, Steve?
Hey, buddy. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I am super excited, as always. Today is Yousuf Ahmed, the founder of B-Sides. What's up?
Hey, Melissa. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for being here today. Where are you joining us from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Incredible. We always do a little bit of a weather chat, so tell us what it's doing up there.
New York has had a super strange spring. It's like I woke up and it was like 45 degrees outside, but like a week ago it was in the 80s. So hopefully it'll settle on, spring or summer eventually. What about you?
Yeah, it's about the same here. So it's in the 60s in North Carolina currently, but I am extremely cold intolerant. So believe it or not, I have the heat on in the house. Can't
Nice.
help.
I believe it. I believe it.
I live in the desert and it's raining and it's in the 50s right now. Normally it's hot and probably about 100, but
How hot does it get like in the dead of summer where you are?
I have seen my truck get as high as 112, 113.
Oh my God.
But like outside it's probably like about 106. So yeah, it gets pretty hot out here.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in Atlanta and it's, it can be awful.
The humidity, though.
Yeah.
Walking through soup.
Yeah, Atlanta's like, it's just like a big sticky marshmallow. It's really gross.
Yeah.
No offense.
That's why I haven't gone back in like 20 years.
No offense. I've got a weekend planned in Atlanta pretty soon, and it's in June, and I'm just like, the people that I'm going to
July
see,
and August, June's going to be okay. It's really like August when you should just avoid it.
The people I'm going to go see are totally going to make it worth it, but like I'm just like it's going to be hot.
Yeah, totally.
So I want to say this in July. We're supposed to do a road trip to Charleston. I think we're going to drive through Atlanta, of course, get some food and whatnot. So you're kind of scaring me on the humidity part, but the food outweighs all of that.
Yeah, and the Atlanta food scene in the last like 10 or 15 years has just exploded. It's amazing now. I would not have said that, in 2010, but like it's really blossomed into its own kind of beast.
I can imagine, yeah.
I really love both the idea and the reality that a lot of cities are up and coming with their own food scenes. Like just several episodes back, we talked to a chef in Milwaukee. And of all places, Milwaukee has like a huge food scene and a lot of Michelin contenders and everything else. So I love the fact that we're seeing a lot of cities come onto that list and into the zeitgeist and into everybody's culinary awareness that really weren't always there, right? Like you always have your heavy hitters like New York, Dallas, Houston. But it's just like now some other cities are seeing their comeuppance, and I like it.
Totally. Especially when
enough room.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, Stephen, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead. You're good.
When like some of these towns have their own kind of local specialties that are unbeknownst outside of, Milwaukee or whatever it might be. When those become like that dish gets adapted and modernized and becomes a hit. And then you see it start popping up all over the United States. So I'll give you a great example, right? So huge pizza fan, obviously living in New York. I live around the corner from a Detroit pizza shop. And you would think like, why would we have a Detroit slice here? It is hands down the best slice that I've had in months. And it's, 10 years ago, that wouldn't have existed.
It's different from everything else that's there, right? Like
totally.
There's not other, square pizza there.
Yeah, you have social media just exploding and everyone, showcasing what they have to offer, so that's also a big part of it too. Because even like small towns in Texas, I'll follow some of these restaurants, and I can't think of them off the top of my head right now. But I went to this like real upscale restaurant, like in the tiniest town in Texas for Valentine's Day, and it was out of this world. So
yeah. The really special. I mean, Texas has a really, like Houston having a huge Vietnamese population. Some of the food that I've had in Texas, I'm just like, Jesus, this should be more on the map kind of elsewhere. And it
Totally.
does seep in, like to your point, starts in New York, starts in California. I would argue that it also starts in Texas and then makes its way to the heartland.
Yeah,
definitely.
Something that springs to mind as a really great example of this is Nashville hot chicken. Like you say, like 10, 15 years ago, like the locals knew, maybe Southerners knew, but now it's like everywhere. And I was actually
coming to an Arby's near you.
Right. Arby's needs to stop though. They're just doing something. They're just doing some things that they don't have any business doing.
Exactly.
But I was looking at a menu last night in Dallas, just out of curiosity, and I can't remember exactly what I was looking for, but they had Nashville hot fried oysters, and I was like, Nashville hot fried. What? Why? Like, what is happening? Yeah. It's just one of those things that exploded everywhere.
Totally.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, so every week we ask each other and our guest, what was the most amazing thing you ate this week? And I'm going to put Steven in the hot seat.
Wow. On this quest to be healthy as I approach 40, I have been doing a lot of meal prepping. And of course, I've been cooking a lot of lamb shakes, a lot of chicken. But every now and then, just when I'm just trying to get that protein in, I just mixed it all up with, of course, my usual roasted sweet potatoes. And I changed it up, Melissa. You're not going to believe me.
Did you
I gave green beans a shot.
Shut up.
Didn't care for it still, but I mean, you know
Yousuf,
what?
Steven hates green beans. They're his arch nemesis.
Why? Was this like a cafeteria nightmare when you were a child, or like what happened?
Someone heard me many years ago. No, I don't know. I just never grew like into green beans. But every now and then I try them. I try to give them a chance. When I say every now and then, I mean like once a decade,
Mm-hmm.
But just what really saved it was, the fattiness of that lamb shank. And of course, like you're eating like really good lean chicken breast and whatnot. And like all those flavors together wasn't bad. Didn't suck, So I'm going to say that.
That's the bar. Didn't suck.
Yeah.
That's the
like I
standard.
said,
We're about right
Hey,
there.
good for you though.
have you ever seen those videos where people are like trying to have like a Brussels sprout? They're just like, like they're not having it. I wasn't there, but
You were
I'm doing
close.
better, man.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I'm
doing
glad, we all grow and evolve. So maybe we'll talk in another 10 years and maybe
Right.
they'll become kind of your best buddy.
No.
I don't know.
You can ask Melissa.
you're coming
I'm
out
also
with
not a pickles person, but over the years, I'm eating more dill. I'm having more pickles.
Yeah.
Especially, like I said, or like when they're deep fried and covered in ranch, like it's not bad. We're getting there.
That's
little by
most
little.
things.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the way that I keep telling Steve, like you'll like green beans if you eat them deep fried and dip them in ranch. Like
Yeah.
most vegetables, I don't know, or add bacon. One of the two.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Yousuf, what about you? What was the most amazing thing?
So so right now in New York, like we're getting the first of kind of the spring vegetables coming to the farmer's market. And I have a, between 2 and 3 year old toddler who is very food curious. So I picked up a bunch of, first of the season, asparagus, favas, sugar snap peas. We've got ramps and, I made a pizza and she loves pizza. And, with those kind of veg, I just do like straight up heavy cream as the sauce, and it reduces down nicely, and she'll just eat the shit out of it. And I'm like, why is a 2-year-old doing this? And it's because it's all like creme de la creme on cream. And that was the best thing I ate this week. My toddler's pizza. Yeah,
That sounds incredible. I mean, I love green vegetables on pizza. There's something about that match, especially if there's like a little Parmesan or ricotta. Like that's a really good pairing.
Whip ricotta with heavy cream to make it like more spreadable. I really hate it when people just try to like pipe like a little, like it throws off the balance of the slice.
in a food processor and like aerate it, and that blade will cut through there, but it really it gives it like this creamy, and like if you hit it with like a little lemon zest and black pepper, and then
that's the move.
Green peas. Oh, it sounds making me hungry right now. I just had the third serving of the most amazing thing I ate this week because I ended up meal prepping it. I had recently canned orange marmalade, and I had some that didn't quite set, and I ran out of jars. And so I just have a container in the fridge. It'll be good in there forever. But I went ahead and cooked it down just a little bit more to activate the natural pectins. And I ended up using it as the base with chili crisp and gochujang to make orange pork.
Nice.
It was phenomenal. So
what cut of pork?
I had shoulder, but it was ground, like smaller than stew. So kind of like for ground hamburger, for lack of a better, but like little onions, green bell pepper, kind of a melange of ingredients like carrot, celery, onion. I was just kind of doing like freezer clean out. I put it over some sticky rice. It's really, really, really good.
Perfect.
Like, soy, sesame, ginger, the whole nine, but the orange marmalade and all that like zest and pith in there and like really orange flavory. So ridiculous.
Yeah, nothing like it. Nothing like it.
No, yeah.
So good. Oh. Marmalade's my favorite jelly to can because you don't have to pill anything and you barely have to cut anything. So
yeah, it's like what kind of oranges were you using? Just straight up like navels?
Just navel. Yeah. I got them for free, but if you imagine if you use like
navel oranges are the best.
But if you use like caracaras or if you use like blood oranges, like it would be insane.
Yeah. So like for whatever reason, I was sourcing from a purveyor and like he happened to have caracaras and he had a bunch of blood orange and some of the like what's the other one? I don't know. There's like a bunch of very Valencia oranges, and I was just like, just give me one of everything. And those things are just so useful top to bottom. The zest, the juice, the literally everything. Like you can put it in sweet, savory. It's wonderful.
Works.
Valencia oranges have like this insane floral quality to it. And it almost verges on kind of like that bergamot, like those Earl Grey notes. And I think it's really, really intriguing. And when you asked what kind of oranges, I was immediately in my head, I was like, dude, Sumo citrus marmalade would be incredible. And it would also be like $12 a jar.
Totally. The thing is, like, most people when they think of orange marmalade, it's like the stuff that you see at the Smuckers or whatever in like your local
300 grams of sugar.
But like if you really try to broaden the aperture, you can get wild with like some really amazing. And it, by the way, I think $12 is like perfectly reasonable for a jar if you're going like top shelf.
Right.
It's really delightful.
I just don't want it to cost $12 for me to make.
Fair enough. But then again,
I'm greatly intrigued. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. So when you have like very small children, they have no concept of what this stuff costs. They just know that it tastes amazing. So I'm like, Jesus, she just ate like $15 worth of blackberries like in one sitting, So I totally hear you on. Did that just cost me $15 to make? I totally get that.
100%. I am toying with the idea though, is I want to make a batch as we get a little bit further into the summer of like grapefruit, lime, lemon, and orange. Like I don't foresee any issue with the canning process or anything like that. I'm like, dude, that would be really cool. And then hopefully it would retain a vibrant color instead of turning like a weird beige or something weird.
So the limes, just like word of caution, that will absolutely happen. Like the oxidation of the chlorophyll, like it just it's kind of but it'll still taste like lime. Like,
maybe that becomes like juice. But I think I've also been playing around with it's going to sound so bush league, but whatever. I've been playing around with using different types of Jell-O for flavoring things where Jell-O usually doesn't go. Cake batter, cupcakes, iced tea, limeade, things like that. And so also been like putting it in yogurt with protein powder. So like,
nice.
But like orange Jell-O or lemon Jell-O into like plain yogurt with like French vanilla protein powder and whatever. So just get bored and I'll play around with stuff. But I think that if you made lime marmalade and you got it to be that lime green, that could be really cool.
You better be careful.
Yeah,
though.
totally.
It's going to cost about $11.50 to make.
Yeah, right.
That's where we draw the line.
Or like 65 cents for a box of Jell-O.
Yeah. I mean, on the list this summer is definitely going to be sorbet gelato. So, well, I'll see how lime green I can get, and I'll send you a photo.
I'm I'm really interested in that vibrant, like mint jelly color is super intriguing to me and also grosses me out. So.
I mean, the best way that I've figured out to hack it without like, going just totally artificial is spirulina, but you got to it's kind of like adding turmeric to something to make it yellow. Like you really have to be careful. Otherwise spirulina flavor just takes over.
Yeah. It's a little dab will do you. And it's the same with like beet powder. It's just like,
yeah.
It's really irony now. Like it really.
Totally.
Umami. Well, Yousuf, can you tell us how did you get involved in snacks? Like what is your culinary journey? Did you grow up cooking? What's that look like? Walk us through it.
My villain origin story. So I did grow up cooking. So I'm the son of a couple of immigrants, and like immigrant, food culture is such a pervasive thing, particularly in the United States. My mom, who is all 100% Indian, but has spent the last 40, 50 years in the South. She would make it a point to make family meals all the time, and in typical kind of immigrant fashion, one of the things that she held front and center was like, we don't waste anything. And so from like a very young age, it was just like bored into my mind that we do not throw away food. And as I kind of graduated throughout my schooling and then into my professional career, because I had immigrant parents, they would not let me go into kind of food and bev as a career choice. And so I did what any responsible, half Indian kid would do. And I went into finance. And I started my career in the music business, and then I moved over into wealth management at Goldman Sachs, where I was basically managing a bunch of super successful entrepreneurs in food tech, climate tech, ag tech, basically anything with tech. This is like 2016 till 2021. And, VC money was like falling from the sky. And I really wanted to marry kind of my love for food and what the business opportunity in front of me. One of the things that I learned was, sustainability was like a very hot topic back then. And I wanted to take it from a food angle. And it became quickly apparent to me that like most sustainability claims from like a corporate perspective were all greenwashing and rubber stamping. I'm like, what are we actually like doing in the real world that would, affect some kind of change? And the way, this is a long answer to your short question, but the way that I ended up working in a snack company is I had this idea about wanting to minimize food waste, and I didn't want to create like yet another app for how do you use up scraps in your fridge, because doing it at like the consumer level is you're not trying to change consumer behavior is not a good way to build a business. So I started to look upstream, and I really wanted to figure out how to plug holes in the consumer food system. What I mean by that is, you ever wonder what they do with the leftover oats from making oat milk, or the leftover, grinds from brewing coffee, or pressed from making juice,
right,
or, these kinds of examples exist all over the food system. And the short answer is most of the time, all of that byproduct gets thrown away, which is crazy because it's all still totally edible and usable. And so I basically, in 2021, like planted a flag saying, I'm going to solve this problem. And, fast forward through multiple product categories and misadventures and trials, I created a snack puff that uses the leftover oats from making oat milk, the leftover corn from milling grits, and regenerative pea protein. And it comes in kind of 3 nostalgic flavors: cheddar, ranch, and jalapeno. It's accidentally vegan. It's so completely plant-based, 5 grams of plant protein per serving, and it eats like a Cheeto. I wanted junk food that felt like junk food but wasn't actually junk food. So that is a long kind of circuitous route to how I got here, but it's all kind of because family had instilled a love for food and a version of food waste.
I love the idea of you like, hey, there's these couple of problems that we can solve that can then lead to like the consumer has a little bit of ownership in also solving the problem, but like you said, like not expecting that 1000% behavior change. Like it's a far cry from like, let's cut the plastic ring so that a duck's neck doesn't get cut, caught in it, right? Like, which is important, right? But it's a little ripple in the universe. And I love that you bring up greenwashing, because I often think about something like almond milk, which I don't know would fit because it would have like one of the top 9 allergens. But when you think about how wasteful that process is, and how much water it takes and how much soil it takes and everything else. And I drink almond milk because I like it. But like, I just think like, what an amazing approach to trying to get something out there into the mainstream. And what I love about the press kit that got sent over was that you were like, the sustainability is not the tagline, right? Like, I think it's really incredible to be like, yeah, does it taste good? Because also, like, you know, tofu is sustainable, but I don't like eating it raw, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that are good for you or good for the planet that aren't necessarily enjoyable in their base form, right? Like,
totally. It's also like, you know, it's just not how consumers make choices. So like, if you find yourself at a grocery store or a gas station, you're not looking at the snack aisle thinking like, what is the most sustainable option I can choose here, right? Like, so trying to make it seamless and have it live in the background, and it's, you know, from a consumer perspective, it's a free gift with purchase. But like, what I'm trying to do solves all these environmental problems, and there's like an economic story, right? Because if all these people are throwing out these leftovers and I can use them to create the bulk of the product, like I can take my margins and really like start to juice them when you're operating at scale, because I don't have to, you know, source all of those ingredients for the puffs, right? So it's a win-win-win.
Your supply chain all of a sudden becomes like more efficient, less costly, and shorter, essentially, right? And then, man, I love Cheetos. I love that you name drop a Cheeto, because that is a texture that I am really fond of. The Colette that they call the Cheeto before it's actually a Cheeto, is that crunch is something that is like oft imitated but not replicated very often.
Totally, 100%.
Like it.
Yeah, and
like it.
It's you know, that's like definitely the Cheetos, the North Star. I mean, I grew up eating Cheetos. Everybody loved Cheetos. Like, you know, and the problem that I find like with kind of like consumer brands today is they so over-index towards like, you know, being clinical about things, right? Like on this conversation, the last like 20 minutes that we've been talking, like we brought up protein a bunch. And that's like the big thing, right? In 2025, everybody was talking about protein. And what I've found is like, that's all great. There's you know, I'm really happy that everybody's like protein maxing and fiber maxing, but at the end of the day, like when people snack, it can be such a personal kind of, you know, escape. And trying to make that clinical, I think does a disservice to snackers. Like, I'm a huge snacker. I will eat, you know, Doritos, Fritos, Tostitos, anything with the Eatos kind of attached to it. Like, it is in my cabinet. And like, I'm not thinking about like, you know, am I getting enough protein from this? Like, it's nice if I am, but there's so much branding around kind of the functional attributes. I just wanted to make a good snack, and it happens to do all these other things. That's like, you know, the ethos of the brand.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Now the name of it, B-Sides. I'm looking at the press kit, and there's, you know, like the story. But for the listeners who don't have this, can you explain that?
Yeah, so the flippant answer is naming things sucks. All the good names have been taken. Look, so a B-side in music is they're basically all the tracks that didn't make it onto the original album. Not because they're not good songs, but they didn't fit the vibe or whatever. And that's what I'm doing with ingredients. The other thing is like, it's a wink and a nod to, you know, I started my career in the music business, and I wanted to kind of tie that through in a way that, you know, was seamless to an uninitiated consumer. And oftentimes, like one of the taglines when I do samplings is, you know, I wondered what we can make with these leftover oats besides oat milk. And like people, that would click, you know, they would understand like, oh, that why haven't we been doing this, right? So yeah, the B-side, like
play on words.
It does there. Totally.
What can we do with the oats besides making oat milk? I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I think it's really clever. And I'm going to tell you, I'm about 50 times more likely to buy a snack from a person wearing flare jeans as a millennial. I was like, yes, let's go.
And like you were saying, you know, like when you think of B-sides, you think of music. So like I can remember when we first started emailing each other about, you know, trying to get us to, podcast, like that's the first thing I thought of when I saw B-sides, and I was like, okay, music. Like, and I started thinking like all these bands that I listen to that have B-sides and release all that kind of stuff too. So yeah, makes perfect sense. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's, the other thing is like, I want to build a company that, so the product is actually called the Crunch Puff, right? It's not called a B-side. I want a whole product suite of things made using upcycled ingredients that fall under, B-sides is the name. It's just, it is a long endeavor. And to any aspiring kind of CPG food and bev founders, like, it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done. And I'm saying this coming from the music business and from Goldman Sachs. So it's not for the faint of heart, for sure.
Well, I want like hoops and chips and wafers and crisp or whatever else you've got. I want all of it.
Right.
And then I wanted to have snappy music names too. Like you call some of them singles and you can call some of them hits. And yes,
totally.
I'm all about a pun. I want food puns. That's what I want. I can't wait to try these. All right. So walk us through the flavors.
Yeah. So the first, like when anybody thinks of a snack puff, the Cheeto is the most ubiquitous one. So I had to put cheddar on there. And it is, in my mind, most people, when they try it, they're like, oh, this is like a good Cheeto. And then when I tell them like it's made using all these leftovers, you can kind of see their mind get blown because it's like, I didn't even know this is like a possible thing. And then I tell them it's also vegan. Like, so I'm not a vegan. I eat tons of dairy and meat and all sorts of stuff. But I think one of the often overlooked things in kind of restaurant food for sure, but definitely CPG products is technology has come a really long way. And being able to recreate these dairy-like flavors, especially with umami, et cetera, is totally possible now. And it wasn't really 5 or 10 years ago. And trying to make that into the mainstream, that's one of the reasons that to me, I was like, okay, like let's just go to the mat on like how bougie can I make this thing that is basically just a Cheeto. So that's cheddar. That was the North Star there. Ranch is like to me as a kid eating a bag of Doritos Cooler Ranch like next to my mom on like a road trip. That is like a core childhood memory. And so the flavor, like the seasoning for the ranch flavor, that is as close as I could possibly get while still making it somewhat clean label. There aren't things like sodium diacetate or weird kind of preservatives in there. Again, also 100% vegan. So like, how do you swap out the buttermilk? That's
I'm gonna say like as close as you can get without the buttermilk powder because like you need that tang. You need that tang and you need something
so
that will
yeast
like
extract.
Kind of
That's how you do
tongue.
it.
Yeah.
And then the final flavor. A lot of people were like, I want something spicy, but they were also like, I want, kind of a salt and vinegar thing. So I was like, let's just cut the difference. And it is basically a jalapeno lime. So there's like a huge hit of lime on the front, and then there's a slow burn of the jalapeno on the back. It's actually modeled after Doritos Salsa Verde. In my opinion, that is the best flavor. But like, if you sample 100 people, you'll get such lumpy feedback, which is good. That's like, you don't want like a clear winner,
I'm gonna make chip salad with these. I'm not gonna lie, like they're gonna get mixed together.
Yeah, perfect. That's
because I want cheddar jalapeno ranch.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
For the listeners out there, CPGs are consumer packaged goods, so what we would call like ready to eat. I just wanted to say that in case somebody didn't know.
Yeah, stop me anytime I drop the acronyms. It's fine. Such a lingo.
No, you get to be the business guy. Like enjoy that jargon. You earned that world. But I just wanted to let the listeners know.
Day. And I just love how like the rebrand, like bringing the joy of the '90s snack culture back. Like this just makes me feel like I'm a kid again. Just looking at the press kit and all that stuff. It's awesome. It's so
immediately
cool. Bright colors.
When Rachel sent it over and I opened it, I was like, I want to buy these. I'm like, this looks like Gushers. This looks like Cheetos. I'm like, this looks like the things that I grew up eating.
100%. I thank you so much. I'm really glad that that's actually what came through because that was the intention. Like the 90s food branding was 100% about flavor and 0% about function. And like today, that is flipped. It is like 0% about flavor, which is, everybody runs around saying like, I have a really good tasting product. And like, sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's not. I wanted to, there's just so much wacky kind of unexplored territory from the 90s that I wanted to modernize and kind of bring to today. And, what's old is new again. And, all the cool kids are trying to wear flare jeans, etc. So I'm glad that came through.
You can get the nostalgia factor then you're on it, because like, at least for me as an elder millennial, like I will go for it 100%. It's funny because I was actually doing a little bit online grocery shopping last night, and I found myself spending 20 minutes trying to figure out which yogurt had the highest protein per the dollar amount. And I was like,
yep.
Why can't I just buy the yogurt and enjoy it? Like, it doesn't need to have 25 grams of protein in it for, $1.80. Yoplait, which was a big, huge brand in the 90s and still has kind of grown through the times. I used to love Yoplait and never ever cared about the protein that was in it. Now they have a protein one that's like 15 grams, and really for 86 cents, that's a lot of bang for your buck as far as macros go. But it's funny that we're having this conversation because literally at about 1:00 this morning, I was like scrolling my phone, like, where's the one with the most protein? And literally had this moment where I was like, what are you doing? Like, it's just yogurt.
Whereas like in the 90s, it's sold because it had words like extreme, like on the package,
Yeah.
Awesome.
And, I think it is, I'm kind of two minds of this, because generally speaking, like, I do want people to eat better, have a more kind of wholesome and nutritious diet. But at the same time,
sure,
I think it's so easy to just over index on like, what are we actually solving for? Like, if you want protein, like, eat a chicken breast, man. If you want, in the morning, just have some yogurt. It's gonna have a lot of protein in it. And like, for at night, have a steak, and you're probably going to hit all the macros that you need to hit, instead of being like, okay, well, my coffee has protein in it, and then my 10 a.m. kind of snack has protein in it. Like
the movement of the protein coffee, the Profi, is a little bit lost on me, only because even if I have, let's say, like a huge coffee and I put Fairlife milk in it, and I put foam, whip like a protein powder into it. I'm like, I also like, I don't want a snack that I drink, right? Like I want to enjoy like the texture, like chewing something, and like the act of eating something. So I'm like, this is going to give me like 30 grams of protein, but also I'm going to be hungry soon because this is liquid.
Yeah, totally.
I just drink coffee because I like coffee,
Same. I mean, as you can tell, like, I've got, this espresso machine that
I was going to say, that's a setup back there. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, in my house, like, it's almost all about flavor, not about function. And then I just happen to, eat living in New York, like, I just have access to the most insane kind of purveyors and, produce, seafood, etc. So it's a little unfair, but it's also, it makes it easier, especially when you have kids. Like, let's eat the rainbow and have a variety of things. And it makes it so much easier with them. Like, my daughter's not clamoring for, mac and cheese and chicken nuggets all the time, because like, she wants the good stuff. Like, she looks at what my wife and I are eating and was like, I want that. And it's, I don't know, makes it easier.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I guess kind of going back to all, like the branding and all that stuff, like, I mean, you've been through a lot, like in the music industry, Wall Street, all that stuff. Like, and you were talking about, like, you just wanted a good snack. Like, what was your breaking point where you're like, dude, I'm just gonna do something different?
Yeah. So, I mean, the long and the short of it is, post-COVID. So I think COVID broke all of our brains. I still think we're like, feeling the aftershocks of it. But in 2021, my wife and I were sitting in a 1-bedroom apartment in Battery Park City in Manhattan. And I had spent the last 10 years managing other people's money, and I didn't want to spend the next 10 years managing people's money. And so when I was thinking about, like, okay, like, what do I want to do next? At that point, we didn't have a kid, we didn't own a house, so there's no mortgage. And I was just like, you know what, forget it. Like, I'm gonna, if there's ever going to be a time to just try and do something different, like, now is that time. And I had been wrestling with this idea of upcycling, the use of the byproducts, for a long time. And I just thought, let's just do it. I'm just going to jump in with both feet. And, I gave my notice. My wife and I went down to one salary. We moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so I could bootstrap this insane company into being. And then, in 2024, I was ready to kind of commercialize things. So we moved back to New York City. And at that point, I was still kind of, just gathering consumer feedback. To your point, I had spent 10 years in finance, not in food and bev, not running restaurants, not working with supply chain. So I had to learn how to do all that stuff. And I think that is the thing that has kind of kept me going is there's always something new to learn. There's always kind of a problem to solve, and you get green lights along the way, right? Like you see kind of people try the product, or you have a conversation and they're like, this is so interesting. And for me, I've told this story 15,000 times. It's not interesting to me anymore, but to see other people, the light bulb go off every single time, it's okay, I should keep working on this idea. And that's kind of the backstory for how I left finance and got into this. I just had a love for food, was tired of doing what I was doing, and decided, you know what, let's try and piece all this stuff together.
How did you decide on pea protein? Did it end up being coming down to a texture? Because you say that the snacks are accidentally vegan. So I just want to understand how it came about that way.
So pea protein, there's a couple of different reasons. One, by using peas, the puffs are now a perfect protein in the sense that they've got all the essential amino acids. You've got, So oats, corn, and peas, you kind of need that trio. If you just do two
kind of like
three,
rice and beans together, right?
Yeah,
you've got to fill in all the gaps. Yep.
Exactly. So that's kind of one. Two is the way that you make a puff, whether it's a cereal or a snack puff, or really kind of they're called extruded products. You basically push a mixture of things through a giant pasta maker that's operating at high pressure and temperature.
Yeah.
And you can basically push anything through an extruder. And I tried multiple different kind of substrates, and I mean, it was total mad scientist stuff, right? And trying for different textures and viewing what the actual flavor of the puff is and the mouthfeel against what the nutrition paneling would look like. It just came down to, this is the cleanest, tasted least like protein. And I did the whole complete protein angle when trying to complete the macros. The other thing is, peas they work really well in extrusion. They kind of bind everything else well. So the texture of the pea protein versus using something like, I don't know, tapioca fiber or some other kind of thing to bind everything, it's just a better product.
I love it. I think pea protein is an unsung hero.
No, it is definitely sung. The pricing on pea protein in the last 18 months, I have seen it just skyrocket because everybody else has come to the same realization.
Well,
so
and
you will start seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, 100%. I guess it's underappreciated. When people are talking about having their year of protein, and we're putting cottage cheese in every single dessert, and we're making pizza out of cauliflower and whatever else atrocities we're committing against actual cooking. They're always going for whey and casein. So,
yeah.
And if you have something like a Magic Spoon cereal that's making a crunchy cereal out of whey, it texturally is crap. And I mean, the macros are pretty insane, but it's also $12 for a box of cereal. I'm not paying it. Pea protein blends incredibly well. I really like using it for smoothies, and it makes a really good breading too.
Interesting. I haven't tried that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really
I'll have to give that a shot. So it's funny that you brought up Magic Spoon. When Magic Spoon
and sorry to name drop somebody else.
No. It's Magic Spoon. I mean, it's one of those brands that has been a North Star for basically every nostalgic Better For You brand in the last half decade.
Sure.
To be fair to Magic Spoon, it was pretty genius to run whey through an extruder and then make a product that you also put in milk. To your point, though, I fucking hate Magic Spoon, man. I eat it because
it's rough.
My kid wants to eat it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
my kid is just so curious about what I'm eating, and I used to just crush Captain Crunch every morning, wearing a suit, drinking an espresso, eating a bowl of Captain Crunch. I've never felt like more powerful to start my day.
I made it.
Yeah, exactly. But I can't be eating Captain Crunch in good conscience around my kids. So we eat Magic Spoon. The next kind of product category that I'm going to tackle is going to be breakfast cereal. It's going to be a blend of everything that I just mentioned, because if you look at the cereal aisle, to your point, everything is either a blend of whey and casein, or it's kind of rebranded grape nuts. Like Cascadia Farms has one like this.
Yeah.
And there's an angle wide open where it's a nice blend of grains that's going to do something, just as well as Magic Spoon. It just happens to have, grains in it, which are not bad inherently.
My typical approach to breakfast cereal tends to be that I will cut whatever breakfast cereal I want to eat, which for like the past 7 months has been Lucky Charms. I've just been on a kick.
I love it.
But I'll cut it half and half with Special K. And then I'll use the ultra filtered Fairlife milk, and I will blend unflavored casein whey protein powder into that milk. So like soup it up. But essentially like the bowl of cereal becomes like 50 grams of protein, but it still feels like I'm getting away with something naughty because it's Lucky Charms, So it's
American breakfast cereal is, I think, one of the
like,
greatest culinary inventions. That's actually a really smart way of like hacking it into your breakfast, though.
Yeah,
they're nutritionally bankrupt.
I don't demonize cereal like on the whole. It's kind of like what works for me. And I want something sweet every once in a while, but I don't want it to be a complete sugar bomb, because if I had my way, it would be like Pops every day. They're glazed. You want to talk about, that's basically a sweetened Cheeto ball. With
yeah.
So,
dude, corn is the best thing to put through an extruder. It is sweet.
It really
There's
is.
like hits of umami. It is delightful.
Yeah.
You're not wrong there. Now, for everyone listening, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's so tasty.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Yeah. Now, for everyone listening, like where can people pick up B-sides?
So we ship nationwide via both my website, on Amazon, on TikTok Shop, on Instagram, on Facebook. Just search for B-side snacks or enjoy B-sides. I am very, very, very painfully slowly doing a retail rollout. We'll be in over 700 doors across the Northeast by the end of summer, probably. But like for anybody who wants a peek behind the curtain on consumer packaged goods or food and bev, like there's this crazy ecosystem in which like getting on shelf at a grocery store is actually not the hard part. The hard part is getting off shelf. You are measured basically on units per SKU per week. That's called velocity. And if you fall below like a certain threshold, you get taken off shelf. It's like a real estate play. And if nobody knows your brand and you're walking, and you're shopping at a Piggly Wiggly in Nebraska, and like the brand's sitting there for 6, 8, 12 months, you're just wasting money by putting product there, paying fees to be there, and nobody buys the product. So I have done an insane amount of kind of consumer testing via e-commerce, which is why it's all online. Just Google us. And very, very slowly here, we'll be on a shelf near you. Melissa, you just mentioned I'm in a couple shops not far from you, right? So there you go. Some people have found us and put us on shelf via wholesale platforms.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea. It's just a little bitty mercantile on Main Street, and actually it's in my hometown in Texas. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm down with this. I'm like, this seems like a good pairing. And I was like, that seems like a place I would find something like this. So I'm really excited to give it a shot. Are there any new flavors in the works of the puffs?
Yeah. So the short answer, I'm equivocating kind of purposefully. My social team will kill me if I
don't spoil if you can. If you're not allowed to. It's okay.
The answer is yes, and the answer is it's going to be very, very fun, and I want everybody listening to get involved. So follow us on Instagram and TikTok. That's we're going to have everybody else choose what the next flavor is going to be.
Okay, amazing. I'm like, I got fingers crossed for Flamin' Hot anything.
You and everybody else, man. People
don't have to have a different name. It's the endorphins, man. Like it's the endorphins.
Yeah,
like, that's what it is.
I gotcha.
So
I've got my
All
phone right here next to my computer, so like everything B-sides is just going to start popping up. You know, you're messing with my algorithms here. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. That's growth hacking. It's the way to do it.
Yeah. I'm excited. Where are you at on Instagram?
Enjoy B-sides. So
Okay,
that ENJOYBSIDES. We're there on Instagram. We're there on Facebook. We're there on TikTok.
All right. Well, I just followed you and so did the pod. So
Thank you.
Yeah, because I can't wait to see it. Like, I want to try all the flavors. I'm gonna grab me a variety pack. I think my brother will really like them too, and he's kind of picky about snacks, so that's a huge endorsement. But yeah, I'm excited. These are replaced Cheetos. More power to pea protein. I'm stoked. Super stoked.
Love it.
Yousuf, what are you cooking this week?
Let's see. What am I cooking this week? So I think I mentioned like spring is sprung, and I'm like a fat kid in the candy store when I go to the farmer's market. Like, just every bag of overwintered broccoli rabe or overwintered spinach, or ramps and fiddleheads, morels are coming in season. So I'm probably going to do all sorts of different, I don't know, pasta, risotto. I love making pizza, so we're probably going to do a bunch of pizzas.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, I could just keep going on and on. So let's just leave it at that.
What's your go-to pizza crust? What style, and are you using a specific recipe?
So a plug for Chef Mark Vetri in Philly. He's got a book called Mastering Pizza that actually covers every conceivable kind of Italian derived style of dough. So Neapolitan, Roman, et cetera, et cetera. And his Roman style pizza, I think it runs at like 60 to 70% hydration, which cooks, it's like the higher end of moisture, but it works well in a home oven where you can get to, 550 pretty reliably. That I'll just make like 10 pounds of that and ball it out and keep it in the freezer. It works super well. So that's my go-to.
Super smart. I love that. I love that. I have an old tried and true kind of trusty, dusty recipe that I use that I think it comes from Bobby Flay way back in the day, but it starts with the yeast and a beer. Nice. It just has like a really delightful texture, and you could make it on a stone. You could make it on a cookie sheet. You can pat it into kind of like a jelly roll pan. It's just really versatile and just really easy for when you want to knock something out at home. So I don't know. That's kind of just like the one that I've stuck with for quite a while. Yeah.
I feel like when people find a go-to, like they just say, I've been making this pizza dough recipe for 6 years. It's just like, that's the only one I make now.
Yeah. I love that. And then how long do you have the good spring vegetables in New York?
I mean, the nice thing is, like the good spring vegetables then become the good summer vegetables, and you get kind of stone fruits coming in, and then you've got tomatoes coming in, and it just keeps kind of evolving. So we'll probably have asparagus for a couple more weeks, ramps maybe a week or two, and then the blueberries and strawberries will come into play, and I can't even imagine what my grocery bill is gonna look like at that point. But it's like, it is just a total wonderland. Like, I'll come home from the farmer's market with like 15 bags, and my wife is like, what did you just, why do you have a watermelon? Yeah.
Is that how you best nurture your creativity at home? Is that how you kind of like balance 100%. out what you're doing for the brand?
Yeah, I mean, it is that cooking and buying food and thinking about food has been my creative outlet basically since my Goldman days. Like, I'd be making cold calls, and all the meanwhile thinking about like, I don't know, should I do like a galette, or should I make like Pop-Tarts? It's that, that's just kind of what I think about.
Homemade cinnamon sugar Pop-Tarts. Yeah.
Really.
Just thinking about the filling right now, like a cinnamon sugar Pop-Tart shortbread. Ugh.
Yeah. It's like the so we were talking about kind of citrus at the top, and one of my favorite things to do is like when blueberries are peak, if you make kind of a compote, but you for the acidity you use yuzu. It actually like yuzu and blueberry are just like the perfect kind of pairing. Cannot more highly recommend that.
I love it. I sounds like something I would want to put chia seeds in and make fridge jam, but like yuzu and blueberry.
Yeah.
Just put it on some like really dark, crusty wheat bread. Oh, sounds really good.
Also, we just need to go up to Brooklyn. So we're planning our trip down there.
Yeah, just give me a call. I'm happy to host you. We'll make some pizza.
Gonna go to the farmers market, Steven, and spend $300 on produce.
Yeah, Jesus, it's becoming an issue, but it's I don't know. I like supporting all these guys. They're super friendly. They're super early.
I'm all for like a curated, foodie travel situation. Like you could sell that as an Airbnb experience. Be like
people do. I think I should probably
spring
do that.
produce. Like there's a market there. Like there's
100%.
a little bit of money on the side. Is there anything in the future of B-sides that will skew sweet flavor wise?
Particularly when we get into breakfast cereal, but not to give too much away, but one of the flavors we have in contention for like launching on the Crunch Puffs is definitely on the sweeter side, and I'm curious to see what people think.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm super excited.
I
can't wait to follow this journey. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm really excited about getting to eat some of these. Like I really appreciate the ethos of the brand, and it's something that's super important to me. And I already kind of read labels like, almost to a fault, but I think something like this is really, really important. So this is an amazing connection that we've gotten to make. Yeah. Like this is really cool.
Thanks so much.
So I can't wait to support. All right. Well, for Yousuf and Steven, I'm Melissa, and we got to go. Stick around. Right after we get finished recording, I'll get a little bit more information from you. Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Thanks.
That's a wrap for today. Until the next episode of the Food for Thoughtcast, make good food, eat good food, share it, and be kind to one another.
Thanks so much for listening today. You are part of what makes us special, and we are so glad you joined us. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave a review. Just like food, delicious podcasts are better when you share them with others. Come back for seconds wherever podcasts are served, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Food for Thoughtcast.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at the Food for Thoughtcast, or at www.foodforthoughtcast.com, where you can link to all podcast players, or you can send us an email at foodforthoughtcmc@gmail.com.